Imagine waking up to find your husband gone vanished with your luxury camper van and $20,000, leaving you drowning in debt. That's my story. I'm Hannah, and when David betrayed me for another woman, I thought I'd lost everything. But my 10-year-old son, Ryan, had other plans. With a GPS app and a brilliant mind, he tracked his father down. What we uncovered was worse than I feared, and our fight to take it all back will leave you stunned. This is our story of betrayal and revenge. My name is Hannah, and I never thought I'd be the kind of woman to lose everything in a single day. But life doesn't care what you think you deserve. It just happens, and you're left picking up the pieces, or, in my case, staring at an empty driveway where our luxury camper van used to sit. It was a Tuesday morning, gray and damp, the kind of day that makes you want to stay in bed. My husband David kissed me on the forehead before he left for work. "See you tonight, Han," he said, his voice warm, familiar. I smiled, still half asleep, and watched him grab his coffee mug, the one Ryan, our 10-year-old son, had painted for him last Father's Day. It had a crooked blue heart and the words, "Best Dad Ever," scrawled in his messy kid handwriting. I didn't know then that it'd be the last time I'd see that mug or David. Ryan was already at school, and I was sipping tea in the kitchen when my phone buzzed. A text from the bank. Withdrawal of $20,000 completed from account ending in 4872. My stomach dropped. That was our account joint, sure, but in my name because my credit was better when we opened it. I called David immediately, straight to voicemail. I texted him, "What's going on with the account?" No reply. By noon, I was frantic. I drove to his office, a small accounting firm downtown. His receptionist, a perky blonde named Tara, looked confused. "David? He didn't come in today. Said he was taking a personal day." Personal day? He hadn't mentioned anything to me. I sped home, heart pounding, and that's when I saw it. The camper van was gone. Not just any van, our $60,000 dream machine, paid off last year after months of saving. It was supposed to take us cross-country next summer, a family adventure. Now it was just gone. I called the police. They were sympathetic but useless. "Ma'am, it's a joint asset. He's your husband. We can't file a theft report unless there's more evidence." Evidence? The empty bank account wasn't enough? I logged into our online banking, hands shaking. The $20,000 was gone, transferred to an account I didn't recognize. I called David again. Voicemail. Again. That's when Ryan walked in, backpack slung over one shoulder, his dark eyes so much like his father's narrowing as he saw my face. "Mom? What's wrong?" He's only 10, but he's always been sharp, too smart for his own good. I didn't want to tell him, but I couldn't lie either. "Your dad, he's gone, Rye, and he took the van and the money." Ryan didn't cry. He just stood there, processing, his small fists clenching. "He left us?" His voice was quiet, but there was an edge to it, a fury I hadn't heard before. I nodded, tears spilling over. He hugged me, his skinny arms stronger than I expected. "We'll figure it out, Mom," he said, and somehow I believed him. The next few weeks were a blur of panic and paperwork. Creditors started calling. Turns out David had maxed out 2 credit cards I didn't even know about, also in my name. The $20,000 he'd taken was just the start. I was drowning in debt I hadn't signed up for. My health, already shaky from years of stress, took a nosedive. Chest pains, migraines, nights where I couldn't breathe right. The doctor said it was anxiety, maybe a touch of heart trouble. "You need to rest, Hannah," she told me. Rest? With a mortgage due and a husband who'd vanished? Then came the postcard. It arrived on a Thursday, slipped into our mailbox like a taunt. A glossy photo of a beach in California, and on the back, in David's sloppy handwriting, "Starting over, don't look for me." No apology, no explanation, just that. I stared at it, fury boiling up, until Ryan snatched it from my hand. "He's with someone else, isn't he?" he said, his voice cold. I didn't have proof yet, but I knew he was right. Ryan's too perceptive. He'd seen the late-night texts David had brushed off as work stuff over the past year. That night, I broke down, curled up on the couch, sobbing, while Ryan sat beside me, his hand on my shoulder. "Mom," he said finally, "I have an idea." I looked up, wiping my face. His eyes were bright, determined. "The van has GPS. Dad showed me the app once, how you can track it if it's stolen. He didn't think I'd remember." My heart skipped. "Rye, you're a genius," I whispered. He grinned, just a little. "We're getting it back, Mom. All of it." Ryan didn't waste time. The second I gave him the green light, he darted upstairs to his room, grabbed his tablet, and started tapping away like a miniature detective. I followed, still shaky from crying, my chest tight with a mix of dread and hope. "Dad showed me the app last year," he said, his voice steady. "He thought it was cool, said it was like being a spy. I bet he forgot I was even there." He opened an app called Road Tracker, one I vaguely remembered David installing when we bought the camper van. It was tied to a little GPS unit hidden in the chassis, something the dealership had thrown in for peace of mind. Ryan logged in. David had used the same password for everything, Ryan's Dad 2020. Typical lazy David. A map popped up, and there it was, a blinking dot on the California coast, about 800 miles from our little house in Oregon. "Santa Barbara," Ryan said, zooming in. "That's where he is." I stared at the screen, my stomach twisting. Santa Barbara. Fancy beaches, rich people, a place we'd talked about visiting as a family. Now he was there, living it up with our money, our van, and who knows, someone else. "Can we be sure it's still him?" I asked, my voice hoarse. Ryan nodded. "The app logs movement. It's been parked there for 2 days. He's not just passing through." I sank onto his bed, the weight of it all crashing down. "Rye, what do we do? Call the cops again?" He shook his head, his jaw tight. "They won't help. They said it's his van too. But it's your money, Mom, and he can't just leave us like this." He looked up at me, his eyes fierce. "We go get it ourselves." The idea was insane. Me, barely holding it together, and a 10-year-old kid driving across state lines to confront a man who'd already proven he didn't care? But Ryan had that look stubborn, brilliant, the same look he got when he aced a math test or fixed my laptop when I couldn't. "Okay," I said finally, "but we need a plan." Over the next 2 days, we pieced it together. I called in sick to my part-time job at the library. My boss didn't ask questions. She could hear the exhaustion in my voice. Ryan skipped school, claiming a stomach bug, and we turned our dining table into a war room. He tracked the van's location obsessively. It hadn't moved. I dug through old emails and bank statements, looking for anything to prove the money was mine. Turns out, most of that $20,000 came from an inheritance I'd gotten when my mom passed 3 years ago. David had no claim to it, legally speaking. That gave us something to fight with. We borrowed my sister Lisa's beat-up sedan. She didn't ask too many questions either, just hugged me tight and said, "Kick his ass, Han." I packed a bag with clothes, my meds, and a folder of financial docs. Ryan grabbed his tablet, a flashlight, and randomly a Swiss Army knife I didn't even know he had. "Just in case," he said, shrugging. I didn't argue. The drive took 14 hours. I white-knuckled the steering wheel the whole way, popping antacids like candy while Ryan navigated from the passenger seat. He barely slept, his eyes glued to the tablet. "He's still there," he'd say every hour, like a mantra. We stopped once for gas and cheap burgers, and I caught him staring at me over his fries. "You okay, Mom?" he asked. I forced a smile. "Yeah, Rye. You?" He nodded, but his face was pale, determined. This wasn't a game to him. It was personal. We hit Santa Barbara at dusk, the ocean air thick and salty. The GPS led us to a quiet street lined with palm trees and pricey-looking houses. The van was parked in a driveway, gleaming under a streetlight like it belonged there. My heart pounded so hard I thought I'd pass out. "That's it," Ryan whispered, pointing. I pulled over a block away, hands trembling. "Now what?" I asked. Ryan didn't hesitate. "We watch, see who's with him." So we did. For an hour, we sat in that cramped sedan, the windows cracked, the night growing cooler. Then the front door of the house opened, and David stepped out. He looked good. Tan, relaxed, wearing a shirt I didn't recognize. and behind him was a woman, tall, red-headed, laughing at something he said. She looped her arm through his, and they climbed into our van like it was theirs. I wanted to scream, to run out and claw his eyes out, but Ryan grabbed my arm. "Wait," he hissed. "We need proof." He pulled out his tablet, snapped a photo, and started recording. The van pulled out, and we followed, keeping our distance. They drove to a beachside bar, parked, and went inside, all smiles and stolen luxury. Ryan stopped recording and looked at me. "That's her, isn't it? The one he left us for?" I nodded, tears burning my eyes. "Yeah, Rye, that's her." He didn't say anything for a minute, just stared at the van. Then, "Tomorrow, we take it back. I've got another idea." His voice was steel. I didn't know what he was planning, but I trusted him. He was all I had left. The bar's neon sign buzzed in the distance as David and the redhead disappeared inside, their laughter echoing like a slap in my face. I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles white, while Ryan sat beside me, his tablet glowing in the dark. "We can't just sit here, Rye," I said, my voice cracking. "I want to march in there and—" "Not yet," he cut in, calm but firm. "We need leverage, Mom. Something they can't wiggle out of." He tapped the screen, pulling up the photo he'd taken, David's arm around her, the van in the background our van. "This is good, but it's not enough. We need to catch them off guard." I stared at him, this tiny kid with a mind like a steel trap. "What's your idea?" He leaned closer, lowering his voice like we were plotting a heist. "The van's GPS has a remote lock feature. Dad showed it to me once, said it's for emergencies. We can lock it from the app. They won't be able to drive it, and we'll know exactly where they are when they freak out." My jaw dropped. "You can do that?" He nodded, a flicker of pride in his eyes. "Yeah. And while they're stuck, we dig deeper, find out who she is, what he's hiding. Then we hit them with everything your bank stuff, the inheritance proof. They won't see it coming." It was risky, brilliant, and a little terrifying, but I was done feeling helpless. "Okay," I said. "Let's do it." Ryan's fingers flew over the tablet, navigating the app's menus. A confirmation popped up. "Lock vehicle?" He glanced at me. I nodded. He hit yes. A second later, the app chimed. "Vehicle secured." "Done," he said. "Now we wait." We didn't have to wait long. 20 minutes later, David and the redhead stumbled out of the bar, tipsy and giggling. They climbed into the van, and I held my breath. The engine didn't start. David got out, slammed the hood open, then tried the key again. Nothing. The redhead joined him, her voice sharp now, annoyed. Ryan smirked. "Told you." I almost laughed, but my chest was still tight. "What now?" Ryan pulled up a browser on his tablet. "We find her." He zoomed in on the photo, focusing on a necklace she wore, a gaudy thing with a heart pendant. "That's custom," he said. "I bet she's got it on social media." He searched X, typing fast. Santa Barbara, redhead, heart necklace. It took 5 minutes, but he found her. At Kylie SB92. Her profile was public, full of beach selfies, and there it was, a post from 2 days ago. Her and David, arms around each other, captioned, "New beginnings with my favorite person." My stomach churned. "Kylie," I muttered. "That's her name." Ryan kept scrolling, his face hardening. "Look at this." A post from a month ago. Kylie in front of our van, tagged at a campground near Portland. Road trip vibes with my man. A month ago. David had told me he was test driving it for maintenance. The lie burned. "There's more," Ryan said, clicking a link in her bio. It led to a blog, Kylie's Coastal Life. She'd written about moving on with her soulmate, a guy who'd finally left his baggage behind. Baggage. That was me. Us. I wanted to scream, but Ryan kept going. "She's got a PayPal link for donations. Help us start our dream life." "Mom, I bet that's where our money went." The pieces clicked. David hadn't just left. He'd planned this, siphoned our savings into her little fantasy. "We need to record this," I said, fumbling for my phone. Ryan stopped me. "Already did. Screen recorded it all. We've got proof now, her posts, the van, the money trail." He looked up, eyes blazing. Tomorrow, we confront them. But first, we sleep. You need it." He was right. I was running on fumes, my heart racing from stress and whatever was wrong with my chest. We found a cheap motel nearby, paid cash, and crashed. I barely slept, replaying Kylie's smug posts in my head. Ryan, though, he was out like a light, tablet clutched to his chest like a weapon. Morning came too fast. The van was still locked, still in the bar's lot. David and Kylie must have left it overnight. We drove back, parking across the street. At 10 a.m., they showed up, David in sunglasses, Kylie in a sundress, both looking hungover. He tried the key again, cursed loud enough for us to hear. That's when Ryan said, "Now." I took a deep breath, grabbed my folder of bank docs, and stepped out. Ryan followed, tablet in hand. "David!" I shouted, my voice stronger than I felt. He froze, turned, and saw me. His face went white. Kylie squinted, confused. "Who's she?" she snapped. David stammered. "Hannah, how?" "Shut up," I said, stepping closer. "You stole my money, my van, and you think you can just walk away?" Ryan held up the tablet, showing the locked GPS screen. "We tracked you, and we've got everything, her blog, your lies. It's over." Kylie laughed, a sharp, nasty sound. "You're pathetic. He doesn't want you." But David wasn't laughing. He knew me, knew I didn't bluff. "Han, let's talk," he started, but Ryan cut in. "No, you talk to the cops, or a lawyer, your choice." The air crackled. We had them cornered, and they knew it. But I had a feeling the real fight was just beginning. David's face twisted as Ryan's words hung in the air. Cops, or a lawyer, his choice. He took a step back, hands up like he could ward us off. "Han, come on, this is crazy. Let's just talk, okay? No need to blow this up." His voice had that smooth, pleading tone he'd used 1,000 times to dodge trouble, like when he forgot to pay the electric bill or misplaced my car keys for a weekend. But I wasn't buying it anymore. "Talk?" I spat, clutching my folder of bank records so tight the edges crumpled. "You drained my inheritance, took our van, and ran off with her." I jabbed a finger at Kylie, who smirked like she'd won something. "And you want to talk? We're past that, David." Kylie rolled her eyes, crossing her arms. "God, you're dramatic. He's done with you. Move on." Ryan stepped forward, small but fierce, holding his tablet like a shield. "You don't get it, do you? We've got proof. Your blog, your PayPal, the van's GPS, mom's money funded your dream life. That's theft." Kylie's smirk faltered, just for a second, and I saw it. A crack in her armor. She hadn't expected us to dig this deep. David shot her a look, then turned back to me. "Hannah, I didn't mean for it to go like this. It just happened. Kylie and we clicked. I was suffocating at home. You were always stressed. The kid was always..." He stopped, realizing Ryan was right there, glaring daggers. "Don't," I warned. "Don't you dare blame us." Ryan didn't flinch. "You're a liar. You planned this. Her posts go back months before you even told Mom you were working late." He swiped his tablet, pulling up Kylie's blog again. "Here, October 12th. You two at the lake. You said you were at a conference." David's mouth opened, then shut. "Caught." Kylie snapped. "So what? He's mine now. You've got nothing." But I held up the folder. "Wrong. This is my inheritance statement, $20,000 from my mom's estate, in my name. You don't get to touch it, David. And this," I pointed at the van, "is mine too, paid off with my savings. You want to fight me in court? Go ahead. I've got more than enough." The bar's parking lot felt like a battlefield, the morning sun harsh on our faces. David rubbed his jaw, sweating now. Okay, let's settle this. I'll give you the van back, Han. Just don't call the cops." Kylie whirled on him. "Are you serious? We need that van!" He hissed something at her I couldn't hear, and she stormed off a few steps, fuming. That's when Ryan tugged my sleeve. "Mom, check the app." I glanced at his tablet. The van's GPS had a notification. "Lock disengaged, attempt detected." "He tried to override it," Ryan whispered. "He's got a backup key or something." My heart sank. Of course he did. David was always sneaky. "Can you lock it again?" I asked. Ryan nodded, tapping fast. Vehicle secured. The van wasn't going anywhere. David noticed, his eyes narrowing. What did you do? I stepped closer, voice low. We're not playing your game anymore. You're coming with us to the police, or I'm calling them right now. I pulled out my phone, finger hovering over 911. Kylie laughed again, but it was brittle. You're bluffing. Try me, I said. And I meant it. Something in me had snapped years of swallowing his excuses, his charm, his bullshit. I was done. David saw it too. His shoulders slumped. Fine, he muttered. Let's go, but this is ridiculous. We piled into Lisa's sedan, David in the back, Ryan beside him, me driving. Kylie refused to come, stomping off toward the bar, yelling, "You're weak, David!" I didn't care. The police station was 10 minutes away, and Ryan kept the tablet on, recording everything. David stayed quiet, staring out the window until he mumbled, I didn't think you'd find me. You underestimated us, Ryan said, cold as ice. Big mistake. I glanced at him in the rearview mirror, pride swelling despite the ache in my chest. He was 10, but he'd outsmarted a grown man, his own father. At the station, I laid it all out. The bank records, Kylie's posts, the GPS logs. The officer, a gruff guy named Martinez, raised an eyebrow. This is a mess, ma'am, but it's solid. We'll need to investigate fraud, maybe grand theft if the money's yours alone. David tried to spin it. It was a joint decision, but Martinez shut him down. Save it for your lawyer. They held him for questioning, and Ryan and I stepped outside. The van was still locked in the lot. We'd get it towed later. I sank onto a bench, exhaustion hitting hard. My hands shook stress, or maybe my heart acting up again. Ryan sat beside me, quiet. You okay, Mom? He asked finally. I nodded, pulling him close. Yeah, Rye, because of you. He hugged me back, fierce and tight. He's not getting away with it, he said. Not this time. I believed him. But as we sat there, I couldn't shake the feeling that Kylie wasn't done and that David was hiding more than we'd uncovered. The police station's fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as Ryan and I waited for Martinez to finish with David. My chest ached, a dull throb I couldn't ignore anymore, but I pushed it down. We were so close to getting the van back, the money, some shred of justice. Ryan sat beside me, scrolling through Kylie's blog again, his brow furrowed. She's posted something new, he said, tilting the tablet. It was a rant. Some people can't let go. Dee and I are done with the drama. Enjoy your sad little win. Attached was a photo of her smirking on a beach, alone. She's acting like she's out, I said, unease creeping in. But she's not, is she? Ryan shook his head. No way. She's too mad. She'll try something. Martinez came out, wiping his hands on his pants like he'd just dealt with a mess. Your husband's sticking to his story, says the money was a mutual gift to his new life. But your docs check out, Mrs. Carter. That inheritance is yours. We're holding him on suspected fraud and theft pending a deeper look at the transfers. The van's yours too. Tow it whenever you're ready. Relief hit me like a wave, but it was bittersweet. What about her? I asked, nodding at Ryan's tablet. Martinez shrugged. If she's tied to the money, we'll get her. Give us time. Time. I didn't have much of that. Creditors were still calling. My health was crumbling, and Ryan deserved better than this chaos. We left the station, the van towed to a nearby lot with Ryan's GPS lock still active. I called Lisa from the motel, voice trembling as I filled her in. You're a badass, Han, she said. Bring my car back when you can. I'll handle the home front. I smiled, grateful, but my hands wouldn't stop shaking. That night, I woke up gasping, pain shooting through my chest. Ryan bolted upright beside me. Mom! He grabbed my phone, dialed 911 before I could protest. The paramedics came fast, too fast, like they'd been waiting for me to break. Possible heart attack, one said, strapping me to a stretcher. Ryan clung to my hand, eyes wide but steady. You're gonna be okay, Mom. I'm here. The hospital was a blur tests, IVs, a doctor with kind eyes telling me it wasn't a heart attack, just severe stress and angina. You need rest, medication, and no more drama, she said. I almost laughed. No more drama? My life was a damn soap opera. Ryan stayed by my side, tablet in his lap, guarding me like a soldier. By morning, I was stable, discharged with pills and a warning. Ryan helped me back to the motel, his small frame stronger than it should have been. "We're not done," he said as I sank onto the bed. "Kylie's up to something. I checked her PayPal. It's got new donations, hundreds of bucks, right after her post." My stomach twisted. "She's using us to grift more?" He nodded. "And Dad's not talking. I think he's protecting her." Anger flared, hot and sharp. "Then we end it," I said. "All of it." We drove to the tow lot, reclaimed the van, its leather seats still smelled like David's cologne, and headed home. The 14-hour trip was quiet, Ryan tracking Kylie's online moves while I gripped the wheel, pills rattling in my purse. Back in Oregon, I hired a lawyer with Lisa's help, a tough woman named Carla who pounced on the case. "Fraud, theft, identity misuse," she said, flipping through my folder. "We've got him cold. Her too, if she's laundering your money." Days later, Carla called. "David's cracking. Admitted he funneled the $20,000 to Kylie's account, said she convinced him to leave you. She's got a history, Hannah. Small-time scams, fake sob stories. Cops are picking her up today." I exhaled, tears prickling. "And the money?" Carla paused. "Some's gone spent on crap like that necklace, but we'll freeze what's left, fight for restitution." That night, Ryan and I sat on the couch, the van parked outside like a trophy. He leaned against me, exhausted but victorious. "We did it, Mom," he said. I kissed his forehead, my chest still sore but lighter. "Yeah, Rye, we did." The next week, David was charged fraud, theft, the works. Kylie too, her blog shut down, her PayPal seized. The van was ours, and Carla clawed back $12,000 of my inheritance. It wasn't everything, but it was enough to start overpay some bills, get me to a cardiologist, give Ryan a shot at normalcy. Looking back, I see the cracks I'd ignored: David's late nights, his charm that hid lies. He betrayed us, but he didn't break us. Ryan saved me, not just with his smarts, but with his heart. We're scarred, sure, but stronger. And as I watch him tinker with that GPS app, grinning like the brilliant kid he is, I know one thing: we'll never let anyone take what's ours again.